Mates, we have so much spicy information to talk about within this video. Welcome mates, I'm Bloodthirsty Lord, but you can call me Lordy, and today we're back on Paragon. There's been some gameplay in the background, but that doesn't matter because that's from version 41, because we're talking about some news from version 42. And pretty much by the end of this video, you will understand what gems are, the attribute system is exactly, and also how to create a deck in version 42, alongside some restrictions and some things you need to know while doing that. Like how the in-game economy system is going to affect your card deck and how you pick particular cards in version 42. You see mates, we got a lot of info to talk about. But before we get this video, make sure you smash that bloody like button. Let's try to get 200 likes on this video. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. The first thing that you mates need to understand, there's going to be a big learning curve from this system compared to the version 41 system. There is a massive gap. It just feels completely different and it's going to confuse a lot of players. But for the new players, it's going to be quite easy because obviously if you come from a different MOBA and you want to play Paragon, it's going to be very easy to understand how to build your decks and your attributes and use your gems, compared to what we've been learning for 1.5 years of doing the version 41 system of card decks, which will be no longer existing in version 42 because that all changes. The structure changes and becomes a new creature in its own sense, which we all have to tackle at some moments within our Paragon experience, so let's do it as quickly as possible before version 42 is even out. What we knew prior to the information that we gained today was that there's no more capped CP at 60 CP or 60 card points. Now it's unlimited, and also there won't be any upgrades, followed by 100 new cards coming to the game. That is all we knew before this massive drop of information just happened not long ago. And within version 42, the new deck building system, you have some very interesting factors towards it. Once you proceed to building a deck, you have a choice between choosing 2 affinities out of the 5. You can choose which one that you desire for that certain deck or character that you want to play it on. Obviously, all your decks are universal, so you can make a certain build for a certain role and use that for other characters within that role if you do desire. Then you move on to the next component, which is choosing your cards that you want. You can choose 3 to 12 cards within a deck out of the 100 new cards that will be in the system. Also, take into account the affinities that you've chosen will make your choice more limited on what cards that you'll be able to use within your build. So keep that in mind when you're making decisions for the deck that you're trying to create. And then the third step is to choose the gems that you desire as your attributes within the gaming experience that you have in Paragon in version 42. So you'll be able to select certain gems that will give you certain ability effects and also certain items, pretty much providing you in a different way than others. So you have to make a choice there as well. Then once you're in game, you're able to use those attribute points to gain a slight advantage against the enemy player, and all these other little combos and also these amazing massive factors about gems as well we'll talk about within this video. And at the very end, you'll be able to see a summary of your deck that you've created, and also they've hinted out that maybe you can also give it a slight description towards your deck in the future. So if you want to say this build works on Sparrow and Twin Blast but doesn't work on Grimex, you can mention that within your card build in the future. So that's really great. But I bet right now all of you guys are like confused about this attributes and gem system. So let's see what Epic Games the Paragon team had to say about this. Not only can gold be spent to become more powerful with awesome cards, but gold can be used to purchase 3 new attributes: agility, vitality, and intellect. Those are the 3 attribute or gem types within the system, so that's really crazy. Increasing the strength of your attributes unlocks powerful gems that further increase your ability to defeat your opponents. You're able to slot 6 gems to complement your card selections, and for the first time, you'll now be able to upgrade your builds, which are attributes and gems, while you are in combat, bringing the true on-the-fly gameplay impact with this system, which is crazy good. And it seems like they showcase an image of what a gem or attribute will look like in your Paragon experience, looking pretty classy like an old school gem. Nothing else to say there, and that is how you're going to know what a gem is or attribute is when picking them in your experience in version 42. So pretty much that covers what Epic Games the Paragon team had to say about that. But when it comes to the attribute types, agility, vitality, and intellect, those are very interesting because they all provide a certain effect or certain bonuses with gems that you're able to pick in that certain category. Agility gives you attack speed and basic armor. Intellect gives you mana regen and mana. Vitality gives you health and health regen. Those are some of the effects or pretty much numbers or stats that you'll be able to gain through those different attributes. The more points you put into a certain attribute, the more gems you're able to collect in that attribute, meaning you get more of that bonuses that are pretty much affected in the attribute. So those are the effects that we talked about just then, and obviously you can have 25 points per attribute. So pretty much you put 25 points into agility, 25 points into intellect, 25 points into vitality. But obviously you have to have gems that are ranked in there to get those effects. The gem ranks within each attribute is from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, pretty much being early game items, 5 being the late game items that you can use within the gem system. Pretty much the gem system and also the card system work hand in hand, and pretty much give you more power and more ability to do certain things with each choice that you do make. And since you're able to purchase these on the go when you're in your Paragon experience, you don't have to go back to the base and be able to purchase them. You have like little power spikes every time you do so. So that's really crazy. But then obviously when you go back to base and pick up your cards, you get that massive spike. And there's a reason why. Because when it comes down to version 42, in your gameplay experience, you're able to choose 3 cards, or pretty much slot in 3 cards, when playing any hero in version 42, compared to the 6 cards that you're able to slot in version 41. So obviously, there's a small gap of what cards you can use, or pretty much the less choices you can make with cards you can use. And that is what it seems like, but that isn't correct. Because obviously you can pick 3 cards, but the gem system is working with the card system, and you can obviously pick 6 gems per build or per deck, meaning that if you have 3 cards and 6 gems, you have 9 items, pretty much meaning that you're doing more than before. You have more things to play with than before. Obviously in version 41 you only have 6 cards, and that's pretty much 6 items. In version 42 you have 9 items, meaning that you have more options to pick certain cards and certain gems within those attributes to give you certain benefits, and it's really crazy what you can do with this. And some of your mates are asking, how the hell do we get gems? In game especially. And the way it works is, you get gold currency. Gold is pretty much the new currency that is in game instead of amber. So when you kill a minion, clear objective, kill a hero, you're not gaining amber anymore in version 42. You'll be gaining gold. And gold can be used to purchase certain gems that fall into a certain attribute in order to gain those bonuses that you've put in your build. Those 6 gems that you put in your build will activate every time you use gold to purchase a certain attribute point for that gem that you want to try and get. And once you've reached that certain gem rank, you'll be able to gain that gem effect in your gameplay experience. Hoping this is not confusing you guys at all, but it might be a little bit confusing, and obviously it will take time to get used to. Also, all the new cards that will be in version 42 will all have a certain card effect. So no card will be just numbers, and if it is, it has to be for a great reason. Like if it's for basic armor penetration or penetration nevertheless, you can choose that card will provide you those stats because that's maybe a one-off card. But majority of the cards in game have a certain card effect for that card that you've chosen, so choose wisely. And also there's going to be 100 cards, all around that many, within version 42. And they've also mentioned that that isn't the end of it. So we're going to get more cards as we keep pretty much progressing through Paragon states until we reach final release. Whenever that does happen, it's been pretty much confirmed for the start of next year, so that's pretty crazy. But obviously once we reach that state and become full release, the game won't stop developing. But there is a great chance that the development of the content that will be coming to the game will be 100% slower than it was before. So instead of 3 weeks of getting new content and 9 weeks for those massive updates, we could be waiting a little bit more longer, obviously because the game is nearly at perfect state majority of the time once we reach a full release date of the game. So that's really great, and either way, I'm going to be playing Paragon. I've been playing it for such a long time, and it doesn't look like I'm going to give up. So I'm going to keep enjoying it, have a fun time, but within version 42, there's a massive leap of faith for every player, especially the version 41 players, or people that came from Paragon from the very start, because there's going to be so many new things that you need to learn. But once you've learned them, you'll be able to wreck as always within your Paragon experience, so keep that in mind. And there's going to be so many new players coming to the game and trying to learn the systems, and this new system is going to be quite easy for them to understand, especially if they're coming from a different MOBA. So that is why they've pretty much confirmed this release, or pretty much are so convinced that this is going to work out, because it actually does. There's nothing that says it's not going to work out for new players when they do come to Paragon. There's not going to be a massive learning curve that scares them off. Right now, it seems like it's going to be very easy for those players, and that's really great. Just for us old school players, we have to get used to that and pretty much learn the new system. But mates, as always, in the comment section down below, tell me your thoughts about this new systems that they're implementing into version 42 for how do you create decks, the new gem system, the attribute system. What do you think about them? Do you hate them? Do you love them? Because right now, I feel like they're going to be really hard to learn, but once you do learn them, after a couple of games, it's going to be like a swell time for every Paragon player, because you're going to resume to destroying your opponents quite easily. But tell me your opinions and thoughts in the comment section down below, because obviously I've explained mine throughout this whole video. So mates, if you did enjoy this video, show us by smashing that like button. Let's try to get 200 likes on this video. It makes me want to see more Paragon gaming content, Fortnite gaming content, and gaming content in general, or content by me in general on my channel. All you have to do is share this with your friends and hit the subscribe button to become a mate today. And that is all of this video. Oh, time to go, but don't you worry. We're back very soon. Hey, Taz boys, because you ain't seen nothing yet. Mates, I cannot be the only one that's super excited to test all these new features and make the most perfected build in the Paragon experience. I'm able to destroy all my enemies with one quick, swift It's going to be bloody insane, mates!